Yeah, we already rolling. I mean, shit.
Damn.
Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you for being the first guest on this podcast. This is a great start, and you're a great friend of the show, I guess.
That's nice.
Yeah, well, I really wanted to go into some bits and bobs. What was the first MMO you've ever played, and what hooked you?
Ugh. I can't even remember the first MMO. I think, um, let's think back now. Because I think I did play, like, maybe I played EverQuest, or is it, and Action? I think that's not right. I think it might have been one of those types of games. It might have even been an online one just through the browser.
I mean,
But
EverQuest is a gem.
Yeah, I just remember. I also remember playing a little bit of World of Warcraft, obviously, when that first came out. I also got really into Lord of the Rings Online.
Really?
And I played that. Yeah, I played that quite a lot. I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan, so what can I say? So yeah, I think the first one I really remember, like, really getting into was definitely Lord of the Rings Online. Um, yeah, so for me, Lord of the Rings Online was the kind of like the first folly into the world of MMOs.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, and I know a lot about Warcraft, World of Warcraft. I even played the Warcraft games before that, so.
So, do
Yeah.
you remember a specific moment when you realized, man, MMOs are really my genre? You know?
I think it was when, like, I realized that my friends, like, with the multiplayer games, we always used to sit around the console and we had to be in the same room and we had to have multiple controllers and play on the same screen. That was always split in half or split into quarters, going back to like GoldenEye days and things like that, Mario Kart. But I think it was in the knowledge that I'm sitting in my room with my PC playing this like awesome game, and I've got like 4 or 5 other friends also sitting in their room playing the same game at the same world on the same instance. And I think that was where I was like, okay, this is cool. It's like a social interaction game. I think it's more about the people than it is about the game, and I think that's kind of true with Eve and some of the other MMOs nowadays as well.
It does really close the gaps of friendships and just bringing people together. And I think the social aspect is definitely a part of the whole equation.
Yeah, and it's with certain quests in those games, you can't do them solo. You need friends or uh, people that you've just met online.
Yeah, that's true.
You need a group to complete some of those quests. So, yeah, it's not something that you can do solo, which is kind of another draw of like, we need to work together to complete a goal to upgrade our characters so that we can go on and do more quests to get better gear to do things. And it seems like it's a continuously building process. And obviously during that process, you become like familiar with the people that you do or don't know online. If they're already your friends in real life, then that's great. But if you just met them online, you get to know them a little bit better. And as you continue to grow in game, you would grow out game as well.
Oh, that's great. Have you ever, in a guild, felt, or a corporation, as we say in Eve, felt like a second family? Have you ever experienced that?
Yeah, not so much in the Lord of the Rings or the other sort of games. Again, I didn't get too deep into World of Warcraft, but especially with a game like Eve. Yeah, you hear the same voices every day. You see the same people online every day. It does feel a little bit like a second family. And when you have those relationships online, you kind of feel like you owe those people something. Like if it's like, I mean, when I say owe, not physically owe something, but you owe them some time, you owe them some in-game resource or something like that, and you do feel indebted to them because, yeah, like you would share anything with your friends and family.
Right. Yeah, you feel almost obligated in order to help somebody out that is in need.
Yeah, there's definitely like an obligation to be present, to be cooperative. Yeah, and that's kind of again another draw of it. People may seek what they lack in real life with the people they get in game. Because goes back to the being seen, being heard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and you can be seen to a lack of greater extent of, but definitely be heard with great tools like Discord, like we're using now, as well as TeamSpeak, which is the one I used to use
the
a
OG,
lot.
yeah.
The OG, and now Mumble. Yeah, there's a lot of like communication tools which really are useful.
And sometimes, if you are in a guild, you really have the mother-in-law too. There's two sides of the coin.
Yeah, exactly. And there's always like kind of a father figure, like in Eve, for instance. We have the directors of the corporation, of the alliance, and everyone listens to every word they say because they've got a lot more experience, and there's a lot more respect there. I've never met Seeps, for instance, but I can already tell just from listening to his voice and the way he talks about the game. This guy knows a lot, and he can teach a lot. So if you want to get better, probably listen to the words he says.
So when you played Lord of the Rings, that was your first MMO that you really stuck to. And what was the transition to Eve? Because there's especially a great gap from fantasy to sci-fi.
Yeah, so I think I took after playing Lord of the Rings online for quite a while, getting quite invested, even spending money because it was free to play for a long time. But like Eve, to unlock the cool stuff, you need to kind of subscribe and pay to really get even further into the game. So I took a kind of break after that, and I think I just started playing like FPS games, and I was well into Battlefield for a long time, and all the iterations, Call of Duty, you name it.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know. I think it was probably reading online, either some of the magazines or seeing some of the forums. I always heard these stories about epic battles happening in Eve, and people stealing things, betrayal, piracy. Yeah, all of these like cool concepts that like don't really exist in many other games, or certainly not to the extent that they do in Eve. And as a big sci-fi lover myself, and love most things sci-fi, I was really drawn to the game. And I think it was about 2012 that I actually created my first account. So some time ago now. And the typical high sec roamer, losing, not having a clue what I'm doing, just kind of like in awe of the user interface and the systems and the ships and the epic amounts of stuff in jitter. And I played, I think, maybe for a couple of weeks and then kind of put it back down.
Yeah, right. Like everybody else, it's so interesting when it comes to Eve. People pick it up, try it out, and even invest a certain amount of time and effort in it. It's like, that's interesting, but not for me.
Yeah, I didn't think it was for me. Like, I really liked the game, but it was just too overwhelming. I didn't know anybody. I wasn't part of any corporations. I certainly wasn't a member of any sort of like mumble groups or anything like that. But as time went on, I kept on seeing again more and more stories coming out of Eve, like on new ships and new types of gameplay. So it was always kind of present in my mind. And I think, I don't know, maybe like 2016, 2017, I think I created a new account. I probably just forgot my login by old one. Yeah, I created a new account. Yeah, something like that.
It's exactly the same. So,
and just kind of started my adventure from scratch again. And I think that time I got a little bit more hooked because I kind of knew kind of a little bit more about the game. and decided, right, this is kind of the path that I want to go on. I want to do exploration. And I started like, going into wormholes, and that just kind of blew my mind. I was like, how deep does this game go? So
yeah, it's deeper than it appears on the surface. Like there's a story about big battles, but it is even way broader than that. It's really interesting.
Yeah, exactly. And I was a solo player for a very, very, very long time, probably about a year. And again, I wasn't logging in every day or playing every day, but every weekend or something, I just log in and scan my way out of the wormhole I was in. And I think it was either Reddit forum or one of the other like message boards at the time was everyone was saying you need to join a corporation, you need to like have friends.
That's a big one.
After getting killed like multiple times, losing my ship, losing my pod, going back to Jita because that was my home station. I thought, this game probably is better with more people. Like as you play the game, you see like groups of ships popping around and flying about, and you think, I want to be part of that. whatever they're doing, I want to do it.
Yeah, being part of something bigger is definitely a thing with Eve. How much time did you spend scanning?
Oh, I mastered scanning.
Really?
I must have spent. Yeah, I mean, most of my early Eve career, like I say, from what I remember, was always either scanning down wormholes and messing about with wormholes, or scanning down ships that I couldn't pronounce in high sec, looking for their salvage. So I would use a heron. I would scan, say, like some marauder or battleship that was just in the middle of space, but I'd scan the wrecks. And then I'd warp to the Rex or the MTU, the mobile tractor unit, and just steal all the salvage.
Oh, that was you. Okay.
I realized that was like, I was like, is this even like a viable gameplay strategy? But at the time, I could salvage more like in one site than my ship was worth like 10 times. So I thought this is like quite a cool way to make money and also annoy people, which is kind of fun.
It is.
And I can't remember. I think I got talking either in local or it was like Eve newbie sort of chat. And I think somebody invited me to a corp. I think you can see I was in that corp for like 3 days because I died.
Oh, wow.
And they kicked me out.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. And then again, I think I put the game down after that for probably a couple of years. And then when I moved to Poland, I had a lot more free time on my hands. I had a much better computer. And the Eve bell was ringing again a few years later. And that time, I was part of I joined a low-sec alliance. Bearing in mind, I'd always been in high sec from other than wormhole space and occasionally finding my way into null sec. And I always was terrified of going into low sec or null sec for that matter.
Rightfully
but then
so.
I joined, absolutely rightfully so. And I joined a low sec group called Playboy Enterprises.
Of course. What else would you join? I mean, it's you after all.
And that was the first time I really got onto the, it was TeamSpeak. It's like a private TeamSpeak. You had to have the, invite code and the password. And there was, I think this was before the times of auth and all the background checks that you have to go through now. And that was really fun. I got to actually know people, feel like there's people on all the time. I'd be waiting for the corp leader to come back on because he would always go and take us on, some expedition somewhere to go and kill things because it just felt like something I couldn't do by myself. So we'd gate camp, we would hunt freighters, and that was always fun. So I think I probably spent a couple of years playing around in low sec. It was only 2 or 3 jumps from Jeter, so it was the closest low sec to the market hub in Eve.
Yeah, too high stake. That is really interesting from a logistical standpoint because it don't take much in order to resupply you.
No, and any sort of loot that I got, I could just jump through the high sec gate and a couple of jumps into Jeter and sell it, buy whatever I wanted, come back, a couple of jumps, and it was great. I don't think I ever got ganked bringing stuff back.
They were afraid of you.
Well, I just never had anything of value, and I was always flying around. I was flying around in T1 haulers, so people probably just thought he's not got anything on him.
Right.
But I did see those. I can't remember the corp's name now or the alliance's name, but those suicide gankers that always used to try and get haulers.
Oh, it's probably Code.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
And James, yeah.
Code. Yeah, those guys were always around, but yeah, and I figured out that we can be war decked, and what it's like to go and kill somebody else's structures.
It's a big one.
Yeah, so Olatiers and Ransa were always nearby, so it was always fun trying to get through there.
It's funny you mentioned that, because I started out mining just in a little venture and upgraded to mining barge soon after mining ice. And those gankers were all over the place back when, because they didn't have the bumping mechanics that they restricted, where you couldn't warp away once you got bumped. And catalysts were all over the place, which was at the time when I started, we also tried to defend us, and we built ships in order to just gank the gankers, and they got so mad just that we discovered all of those little mechanics in order to defend ourselves. It was quite amazing.
Yeah, and then like how to bait people, all of the like interesting little tactics that you could use. It was fun, and yeah, so that really got me into Eve, and then it started to kind of take a little bit too much of my time. Maybe that's self-inflicted. I was maybe, but at those days I didn't have much money, and I was flexing my account within Game ISK. So I actually ended up in a wormhole, C3 wormhole, which the Corp owned, or the Alliance, and I was ratting in there for pretty much 4 or 5 hours a day.
That should try you.
To try and earn enough money, in-game money, to pay for my Plex. And it did work. It worked for quite a while, and I was able to do that. But I couldn't dedicate 4 or 5 hours a day, so I just stopped playing. And then it's only been in the last year or two that I picked it up again. I logged on, and there was nobody in my corp, nobody in my alliance. I think Playboy Enterprises had disbanded or had moved somewhere else. And so then I went on Reddit again, looked through the forums, got suggested to join Brave, got suggested to join a few other different groups. And then somebody from my old corp, somebody from Playboy Enterprises messaged me saying, hey, look, we're out in nullsec, part of the Goons Alliance, but we're a Sigma grind set. You should think about joining our corp. And yeah, it was Tsunabe. I remember. I was like, I actually remember that dude. Yeah, I applied, and lo and behold, a year and a half later, I'm still playing Eve. But I play probably a couple hours a day now, which is much more manageable than it used to be. And I've got money now, adult money, so like I can actually pay for the game. It does always help.
Yeah, having adult money always helps in so many situations. How do you balance the time in in-game time and also in real life?
I have a very understanding girlfriend. First of all, that does help.
That does help.
I do have a lot of responsibilities, obviously with work. I've got 2 cats and a dog, a house, and a girlfriend. So but I do work from home, so I think that really makes a big difference for me, and not for everybody, but for me, I work from home, so I'm pretty much always sitting at my computer. When a fleet gets called for home defense or for structure bash or something like that, it doesn't take much for me to take half an hour out of my day to play. But my work-life balance is like I don't really play much after 10, 11 o'clock at night. That time is for me and my girlfriend, and real life comes first. So I think that's an overriding motto I've noticed with being in Sigma and being part of this alliance, is that real life does come first, and you should never sacrifice anything for the game. Like if you need a week off or 2 weeks off or whatever, just do it. Like it'll probably still be there when you come back.
Yes.
Very true. And I've also become better with my own time management in general. There would be times, in the past where you're sitting playing until 3, 4 in the morning, and time just flies by. But I don't have that anymore.
Right. Have you ever experienced like a burnout thing with, thinking of quitting the game?
I've quit the game like 5 times.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, throughout my careers, I checked and I have 3 accounts. So at some point, and those are older than my main account, which I use now. I've quit the game several times, but I always come back. I think that's the thing with Eve. Is like she's like some harsh mistress, some like evil ex-girlfriend that you're just kind of always drawn to for some weird, obscure reason.
I was just about to ask you, what brings you back after a break like that?
I don't know. I don't think there's nothing. There's an itch that Eve scratches that no other game does. It's that sense. I know there's hardcore modes in other games like Diablo and like a load of other like similar type of games. Mm-hmm. Whereas Eve is completely hardcore, like all the time from day one. There's no safety net.
There's no easy mode. Nope. Mm-mm.
No, there's definitely not. No, and like that, I think that overwhelms a lot of people because they're kind of used to extra lives and respawn points and that kind of thing. Whereas with Eve, it's you die, you lose everything, and there's nothing you can do about it. You can also steal everything. Like you can also kill and steal.
Very true.
There's a very loose set of rules, but it always comes down to like it's human experiment. There's been times when someone's killed me when I was certainly in my super early days. I'm flying a heron or something really cheap, like 1 million ISK. But to me, that's all my money. And somebody killed me and they send me 5 million ISK. And I'm just like, okay, so you've just like 5 times my net worth for no reason.
They're super big, yeah.
Yeah, and they send me like a little message saying like, maybe try cloaking up, or don't be just sitting at 0 on the gate or sitting at 0 on the data node or something. People try to help you out. I'd say 95% of the time, nobody does that. Nobody sends me money or sends me mails.
Wow. Yeah, that's brutal, especially if you're just starting out. The community can just save you in the game, and it also can drive you away from the game, is what I found.
Yeah, it's like you get a group of 10 people. One's going to be an asshole, one's going to be a saint, and then the other 8 are nice enough, but when you start getting the groups of hundreds, like you'll know who those people are in our alliance. Who the loud, angry man is when we go on fleets.
I couldn't tell you. I promise I won't be held gunpoint here.
No, but you know what I mean. And so there's certain characters, should we say? Everyone's got. It's just like any human nature. People are like suicidal. They'll just go in all guns blazing. Leroy Jenkins, other people you just almost never see. You always see on comms, but you never see them in the game. So what I mean is like there's a like certain group mentality within most of games as well. But because this is a very community-driven human relationship game, you're gonna get some nice people or bad people, and like, some people can't handle that in life. I think some people may be shy, and they don't want to go on comms, which is obviously the mumble and communications, which is fine. You don't have to be on comms as long as you're like receptive. I see a lot of people typing in the fleet as opposed to speaking in the comms. That's fine. And yeah, some people are just always on comms. Then you can hear the kids and their life in the background. So
I won't name names, but I exactly know what you're talking. It's
yeah,
really
exactly.
good, yeah. It's super interesting. There's so much character in everything. It also, I feel like it really immerses you in a scenario of where you think you really can sit in a spaceship and listen to people on other comms because they have like their family and their different stories, their different accents because they're across the whole globe, right? It is such an exciting experience, really is.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and because the game spans multiple time zones, when obviously I'm in Europe, and when I'm on in the early morning, like 9 o'clock in the morning, there's people on in Australia, and there's you hear the Aussies on comms, or the super dieharders who in America who stay up late, or early. Like it depends. What is it, East Coast or West Coast? There's obviously the Brits. I don't think we have any Russians in ours. Well, not that I've heard of, and there probably is, but there's nationalities: French, German, Italian, Icelandic, Swedish. Yeah, all nationalities. And what I always find fascinating is that obviously we all speak English on comms.
Yes.
It's the international language, as it would be. But yeah, there's always somebody on. Like, no matter what time of day, there's never time that I've come on to EVE Online and looked on Mumble and seen it empty. So there's always somebody playing. There's always somebody doing something, and you can join and ask and participate as much as you want. And that's quite a freeing idea. Like I have a certain routine that I do in EVE because I'm just trying to make some money at the moment, in-game money.
Yeah.
But there's still a bunch of activities that I've never done, and every time the opportunity comes up, if I've got the time, I'll take part. Like we went to Pochman, went to Trevelyan Space.
Oh, that's Trevelyan Space. It is super neat.
Yeah,
that's
and I've never
new,
been there before. I think so. I think it's a new addition to the game. When I quit last time, the VedMac had just come out, so yeah, that's how long ago I was playing.
With the Triglavian ships, it was the first class of ships that I completely mastered due to the sheer fact of how they work and how they look. It felt alien. It was really neat.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm waiting for the sleepers to come out.
Oh,
sleeping. That'll be interesting.
This would be super interesting, but it is, as with everything, so hard to balance, especially for such a broad game.
Yeah, there's so much. It's such a wide game. I mean, I think I've mastered my little corner of it, but again, when I say mastered, I probably know about 5%. But that's all you need to participate.
So what's one secret thing that you could tell others without, completely getting yourself of a business?
In relation to EVE?
In relation to EVE, because there's so many secrets, and lots of them are gatekept.
Yeah, I mean, EVE just exploited the Sino off-grid on ESS recently. That was a well-kept secret, apparently. But they just now it's called an exploit, even though people have been doing it for years, apparently. Sino pilots, anyway, they'd known about it. So a well-kept secret. It depends on what you want to do. Like for me, I'm all about just making ISK at the moment. And there's a ton of really interesting ways to do that. You don't need an expensive ship. I use an expensive ship, but that's just because I wanted I don't have a lot of time, so I need that process to be sped up. But you can do it in, a Gila, which is you don't even need to be paid Omega for that. You can fly a Gila. You can fly a Gila straight with Alpha, just Tech One stuff, and you'll be fine. You can make lots of hundreds of millions of ISK per session that you play, in very cheap chips. One of the things that does overwhelm a lot of people is the ship fittings.
Oh yes.
Because there's so many different modules and each of them have little nuances. So yeah, for people listening that don't know how Eve works, it's like you have typically high slots, mid slots, and low slots, and a number of those depending on which ship and class of ship that you're flying. So the smaller ships tend to have less of those slots, and the bigger ships tend to, on average, have more. And I think a lot of people just kind of try to cram too much into one ship. They're like, okay, so it needs to have defense, but it also needs to be fast, but it also needs to have all of the DPS.
All the bells and whistles.
Yeah, they try and cram all the bells and whistles into it, whereas you need to just kind of focus your ship, I think, on one thing. So like either you're super tanky, or you're super mobile, or you're just a glass cannon. And yeah, I think that's one of the harder things. There's a ton of online resources with Eve that you can follow, like that, to get some good fitting ideas on how to fit your ship. But every ship is a Swiss Army knife, and it can be tuned to do one thing, and then it can be tuned with the fitting to do something completely different. And I'm always surprised when the Alliance brings out a new doctrine, and I'm looking at the fitting, and I'm just like, what is this fitting?
That's true. So they come up with so much weird shit. Right?
Yeah, but it works because for them, they don't expect you, just one person, to be flying the ship. They expect it's going to have 20 of you with other ships that do other things that your ship is missing. So most of their doctrine, if you DPS, doesn't have any tackle because there's dedicated ships to do that for you. So yeah, there's like a lot of give and take when it comes to fittings. But yeah, there's a lot of online resources, Eve University and Eve Wiki, which I think are the same thing. Yeah, they can help with a lot of stuff, like especially if you're going to try something new. Yeah, like if you want to do a combat site, it's good to know what am I going to expect if I warp into this site. How many battleships, how many cruisers, what's the DPS? Am I going to land on top of these enemies, or am I going to land at range? So yeah, the online resource is amazing. We all know how to Google, so we should all be able to not be surprised by something.
I wonder how long it takes until AI takes over and we just can ask a large language model how things work.
You could probably do that now. Yeah. Like there's Perplexity is one that I use quite a lot for my work. And yeah, that has like a open voice sort of browser, and I caught myself talking to it the other day, and I was like, I have to stop.
I need to check that out. That sounds like super scary and super fun at the same time.
Yeah.
So what's one of the features that in your part of the game, which is making money, also called ratting, that it desperately needs?
Features? Oh, like it desperately needs? That is a good question. The thing is with Eve is the developers keep on putting in features which nobody asked for.
Yeah,
classic. Which is a common thing. It's like, now we can make our icons different colors. Was that really needed? I mean, how about you fix some of the other things first?
Personally, I like my wallet being green.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I can't think of any features because I work around the current game features. I think again, because I've got a little bit of experience and I'm always descanning, I'm always aligning, which are, again, key things to not have your ship die, is align out and descan. Descan is just, your directional scanner. You can scan for ships, certain ships. Some ships don't show up on the descan. That little quirks. But just kind of being aware of what your ship can and can't do as well. Like for instance, I use a marauder when I'm routing. And so I'm sieged, which means that I can't move for 60 seconds at a time, which is a big disadvantage.
It is.
When enemies come into the system, but that also creates a bit of like, you got to plan. Okay, so I'll check all of the systems around me. I'll check all of the cosmic signatures in the systems around me, so there's no wormholes like directly in my system or kind of like 1 or 2 jumps away. So if anyone does come into my system, they're traveling from, because I also rat in a pipe, so that there's only 2 gates that can only come from one of 2 directions.
That's really good situational awareness.
Yeah, so they're either going in one direction or coming from one direction. So
good band.
Yeah, there's those kind of situational awareness things that I do. I use something called SMT, which I think a lot of other people do. It's just essentially a map, which also you can plug into your like Intel channels. So when people say, "Oh, there's somebody in this system," it'll kind of pop up red on the map. Eve would be good for Eve to integrate something like that. I know they have been improving the map recently, but it seems that all the best tools are third-party tools, and it would be nice to see Eve integrate some of those like features and functionalities. I also use another website called, I think it's Pathfinder, and that maps wormholes and wormhole connections, so you can find your way back if you get stuck in a wormhole. That would be something that I would like to see Eve try and do, is like integrate those, or even like a basic version of those third-party tools into their game.
It is also, kind of I believe this is also really technical possible, because, I mean, you do have a map, so why wouldn't you feed a certain channel, which is our Intel channel, into the in-game map that you maybe also can have as an overlay?
Yeah, exactly. I remember in the very early days of me playing Eve, I would constantly have the map open in a little window. I don't do that anymore.
This is
but
interesting.
that was always useful, because I just didn't know where I was or where I was going. Like I didn't know the areas, or is this a good direction to go in, or I'm going to end up in hostile space if I go this way. And so I used to have the little map open back in the day, but I don't know how I did that, because I had a tiny screen.
Very poorly, probably.
Screen now. Yeah, I've got a much bigger screen now, and I struggle to get everything in it. I think I'm using like a third, not even, 1/3 of my screen is actually my ship and my surroundings. The rest of it is just like Intel channels, overlays, vScan, fleet windows. I like the way that Eve is described as like spreadsheets in space. Because when I know, more like databases in space. Yeah. I showed my friend it recently, and they were like, "What is this window? What is that window? Why do you need this information there? And like, can you change it?" And I was like, "Yeah, I can have it. I can have all of these windows not here if I wanted to. But I need this critical information all the time." It's not like World of Warcraft, where you just quest icon and head that direction. It's a bit more nuanced than that.
Just roll over the keyboard with your face.
Yeah, but that's why I like it, because it is complex.
Yeah.
It does take a little bit of mastery, and I totally understand why people would quit this game after like a week or even a day of playing it, because it is a little bit overwhelming. But if you persist, get over the first initial curve of difficulty, it is extremely rewarding in so many ways.
It is. It feels really nice to win. It also feels really bad to lose.
Oh yeah.
So how do you feel about the New Eden store and sales, and also the fear of missing out of certain items?
I've never fallen fully to that. I've never really been a big collector of like certain things. I mean, I would like to have certain skins, but I'm not. For me personally, it's not going to be the end of the world if I don't have that, or if I missed an opportunity to buy something. Like, I don't personally get FOMO from that. What I get is FOMO from missing battles.
Oh,
so
that's a good one.
Like I'll wake up in the morning and I'll see like 20 pings that happened at 3, 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning for me, my time, which is obviously like prime time America.
Yeah.
And then I check the kill boards and I'm just like, oh man, so wish I was on that fleet, because of the kills that they got and the stories that they tell from that battle, you know? So that's the kind of FOMO I get. And that kind of makes you want to like, oh, I'm going to stay up till 3 o'clock in the morning next time.
Wow.
But that's a slippery road.
Yeah. Yeah, I do almost the same. When I get up, I have myself a cup of coffee and I look at Ezekiel, what happened in the previous night. That's what I do.
Yeah, but I've kind of stopped doing that now, because again, there's nothing you can do.
Nope.
You could never have been part of that fleet. You can't repeat that fleet. The same things won't happen again. I've stopped looking at Zkill, and I kind of tend to more look at like the Discord or battle reports now, because Zkill is your own personal sort of trophy hunting thing.
It's true, yeah. So are you a min-maxer, or rather explorer, or just a chaos gremlin? Are you just going in for the battle?
For me, like I think that you have to just kind of be at the beginning, because again, I still don't know anything really. I'm still wet behind the ears. I know I've been playing for many years, but some of these people have been playing for decades, multiple decades, and they still call themselves new at the game. So I just go along for the ride. I press buttons, I do things. I don't know why I'm pressing those buttons. I don't know why I'm doing those things, but I'm being told by much more experienced people to do these things, and there is a reason for it, surely. So if I just do them, and then I'll figure out why I'm doing them later. I'm definitely not a min-maxer. I've got a couple of like what I call like personal ships that are not Doctrine. I've fitted them myself. I've blinged them out with things that I've personally found, because I don't buy having the convenience of Jeter not being 2 jumps away. I've had to completely change the way that I spend my money. So I can only really buy things that are on market in our home system, or somewhere maybe nearby, but not too far away, because again, I'm not going to be hauling expensive stuff from one market trade to another. So yeah, anything that I have that's worth value is stuff that I've like found myself, or like won myself, either through looting other people's wrecks that I've killed, or doing some of the combat anomalies where you can be lucky enough to get some unique items. So that, for me, that's like, I try not to rely on, I'll just buy it from Jeter, or I'll just go and sell that in Jeter. It's like, no, if I want something, I'll try and go out and earn it, if you know what I mean. Yeah, and it feels much more personal that way.
That's nice.
And then but I also then get very risk averse because it took me months to earn that or whatever. So I feel like, oh, I can't lose it now.
Right.
But I started being a bit more, like, as I'm earning more and more money now in the game, I'm trying to get to that magic number in my head, which is 20 billion. So I'm like, yeah, very close to that number now. 20 billion, I think, gets me everything that I want, because I can't fly capitals yet. Well, I can technically, but I shouldn't be, and I won't. I won't be.
You need a whole entourage on other ships in order to support that too.
And that's the thing, as I only have one account. I technically do have two other accounts. One I think sits in Jita, and I'm not sure where the other one is. I think probably also in Jita. But I'm not going to be in. I'm not going to start using alts. I mean, I really like the idea of it, of having 2 or 3 characters logged in at once, you know, for different things. But I just can't get my head around it yet. So
yeah,
for now, I'm just going to have one account and do everything in that. And then if I need to in the future, I can extract those skills and put them into somebody else and start paying for 2 accounts. And then, you know, it gets expensive when you have multiple accounts that you need to pay in, like, for.
So I'm running currently 4, and you have to get into that headspace first. It is super interesting, but multi-boxing is not for everyone, especially not for the ones that are just started out. And as you said, like, there's people that, you know, point at, you know, different screens and say, oh, what's that window doing? And what are you doing with this? Why do you need this? Can you just close it? So now put this on 2 accounts. Well, that's always, you know, just more stress. But it grows on you, I believe, and it also depends on what you do. If you just have a support fleet of, you know, faxes, just stand by if shit hits the fan, well, you don't need to do anything per se with them, right? But they're there if you need them.
Yeah, absolutely. No, and I totally understand and get it. Like, I get why like, there's definitely times where I'm out in the game and I'm thinking, if only I had another character in this ship doing this thing right now, it would be so much more useful and like more helpful to me.
The magical genie ship that just suits that one fight.
Yeah, but I feel like it's also very specialized, and I should probably look into it soon. I think that's probably going to be my next step in my EVE career, is to looking into getting specialized alts to do specialized things. Even just to protect myself, really, is like, oh, can I just have a dictator sitting at the gate? all of those 2 gates that are in my system, just in case. Also, just to give myself a bit more intel and a bit more time, because, you know, I don't want to have to de-siege every time a shuttle warps through. So it'd be good to know, is it a shuttle or is this hunting Blopser, you know? So there is a lot of it's a lot of terminology in the game as well, which is I guess comes with a lot of games, but EVE seems to have a lot of acronyms and a lot of like terminology.
Oh, yes.
Also, people mispronounce the names of ships all the time, and it really annoys me.
I don't know what you're talking about. That Gila is really nice.
Gila, yeah, but the Hecate, everyone's like Hecate, yeah, because they're all like, it's all mythological names, like some of them anyway. And so there's, how I learned how to pronounce it, and then how other people say it. It's like, that's not how you say the name of the ship.
Yeah, especially the Binmatar ones are really interesting, because you found so much, you know, real-life Vikings that know how to pronounce those names, and everybody else is just wrong. It's just like that.
We're all terrible.
Here's another good one. So with New World and Ashes of Creations, MMOs seem to be dying off quicker than they get developed. Do you think that the golden age of MMOs is over or just evolving?
It's a hard question to answer. I mean, when I would like to think that probably the golden age is over, and these games are evolving to cater to a new generation of gamers. Because, like, you know, I'm nearly 40, so I grew up with, you know, Nintendo 64 and PlayStation 1, and even before that, NES, like the old Sega Mega Drives. Like, those are the kind of games that, like, the consoles that, like, I grew up on. I didn't. I mean, I was one of the first people in my street to have a PC,
You're lucky one.
and also internet.
Oh,
So like I was lucky to get onto the internet wave like really early, and that's why I love computers and all things tech. It's because I got into it in an early age. But I I think the way that communication and all these tools, Discord, and the way that games have become are evolving, uh, it's not the same. I don't think so for what we think of an MMO is. Um, like I've heard some games described as MMOs, and I'm like, really? There's no loss. There's no. It's just a never-ending grind. Like, is Diablo an MMO? No, it's not. But it is multiplayer. It is online. It is massive. But it's an action RPG, right? So,
yeah.
I just don't think I don't think the MMO that we know, like me and you, will be the same. But that's not saying that they can't be. I think that if developers are probably more more than likely our age anyway, and they're trying to develop games like that from our childhood. But they're definitely evolving. Even Eve has evolved to, like you mentioned before, the Eve store and like these quick little transactions and some instant gratification and loot boxes, that kind of thing.
Wow.
And that's a shame. But you can get by without those things. So yeah, I think to answer your question, no, yes, the golden age is over. Although with the technology that we have, I think there still will be some good MMOs, but maybe not as many as there used to be. Because again, I don't think everybody's got the time to play multiple MMO games or B, the money to subscribe. You tend to maybe subscribe to one or two games, maybe 3 games. But again, do you have the time to play those games to their full potential? So,
not really.
No. It's like people who play World of Warcraft tend to only play World of Warcraft. They might dip their toes into some other single player games, but they're not going to be spending multiple hours on another MMO, and as well as also Warcraft. So.
Oh yeah. And you've seen so many changes in people, especially when it comes to World of Warcraft. I've seen so many people that completely lost track of what they did in real life, and they lost the sight of their goals that they had, and just mainly played that game. And it's super interesting when you just think about how much time you spend on just a certain game.
Oh yeah, I know. Looking at my Steam account, I've spent 600 odd hours on Call of Duty, 800 hours on DayZ. Like, what could have I been doing in those time?
I mean, you'd cried and you also laughed a lot in those times, I reckon.
Yeah, of course. Like, I don't regret those times. It's not like I missed out on any life goals or anything. I am a fairly addictive personality. I have an addictive personality to things, so I go through phases. Of like being addicted to one game for a while. When I say addicted, just focusing a lot of time on it.
Yeah.
And then I'll kind of just like lose interest. Maybe I'll go back later. But with Eve, it seems to be like I've balanced my addiction and phases to just be, I'm going to do this probably every day as long as the game exists.
What's your most embarrassing in-game moment you had in Eve?
Most embarrassing? Probably some of my early follies when I. So in HiSec, the people have suspect timers and criminal timers. So it means that people can freely engage with these people without Concord hurting you, without the police coming to intervene. So there was a few times where I was in like a cruiser, and my Swiss Army knife cruiser that I'd fitted up to do everything, and I happened upon, oh, it's just a lowly mining barge that has a suspect timer. I'm gonna shoot this guy. Yeah, uh-oh, and I'm scrammed. I am getting attacked by drones. I can't hit them. I can't do anything, and I die in my like expensive 20 million ISK cruiser that I'd been waiting for, and I thought I was indestructible in.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Wow.
There's some I think more humbling than embarrassing.
Yeah. It doesn't haunt you though. It's more humbling, as you said.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think I've got any super embarrassing stuff. I've definitely done some stupid things in Eve, like
Oh yeah.
again, attacked things that I shouldn't be attacking. Forget to bookmark the exit on a wormhole without any scanners.
Here's a story I have for you. That wasn't really embarrassing, but it was super funny. We know we have QRF, which is also an acronym. And again, we have acronyms for acronyms. Quick Response Fleet Ships. And I grabbed it just to secure an objective, and I began to aggress the opponent. And I was wondering, where is my button for shooting? There's no F1 button. Where is it gone? Is it a glitch or something? Anyways, I still have drones. Just use my drones. I fought myself out. And just, it wasn't until later I realized this ship didn't have any gun fitted. It's just super fucking stupid. Like, this is just things like, it is funny, but also you just question yourself. It's like, am I losing it? Like, am I taking crazy pills here? What's going on? So yeah, you definitely have those stories that you always can look back. It's like, oh man, those times, they were good.
Yeah, those times indeed. I fully accept that. You forget to online your modules or something like that. I've had that a few times. Yeah, there's like a lot to remember in Eve, and so like, you know, you'll only do it once or twice.
Yeah, and if you do it the third time, well, it's really on you.
That's on you. Then you're stupid. There's like a checklist you need to have before you leave. Before you leave the station.
Here's something I really thought of beforehand, and this is a fun one. If your main character were a podcast guest, how would they introduce themselves?
My main character?
Your main character.
How would they introduce themselves? Well, I'm Kaldari, so if I was going to play a role-playing game, I would probably be very corporate. I would be like, hey, I'm Marco. That's my character's name. I'm Marco. I'm here to make money, and I will destroy anything that you have in my way if you try to stop me.
Oh, that's really good.
I'd be ruthless, I think.
Yeah.
Kaldari are known for their industrial ruthlessness.
I also started out as a Kaldari, so go figure.
Yeah.
What is an upcoming MMO or even an update when it comes down to Eve that you were excited about if they would announce, oh, well, there's a new Titan class coming up? Would that be something you enjoy, or is there something else in your mind?
For me, because I don't fly any sort of capitals at the moment, a new Titan wouldn't interest me. So, because I'm a long way away from flying a Titan. If they were to bring out some T3 battleships, that would be really interesting. I know they brought out recently a T3 battle cruiser. I know it was an Alliance tournament ship.
Yes.
So super rare and not conceivable in owning one anytime soon. But yeah, I'd like to see some more like nuanced complexity when it comes to like T3 stuff, because I really like the T3 cruisers and also the T3 destroyers. I think they're very interesting, both for solo play and obviously group small fleets. So I think the next logical step would be for them to either do T3 with Tech 3 battleships. They already have Tech 2 battleships like Marauders, but I think having a more versatile battleship would be quite interesting.
Oh, yeah. Or just go back with those classes that you already have and their different ship types. Just go back to Triglavians and make a T3C Triglavian ship.
Yeah, T3, or maybe like a T3 cruiser for all of the pirate ships as well.
Yeah.
Like a T3 Geeler would be interesting.
And it wouldn't be too farly fetched because they just recently came out with the new exploration ship, right?
Oh, the Odysseus.
Yes, that one.
Yes, but that's a mining expedition command ship. Is that right?
Yes,
No,
also
it's
Swiss Army
Expedition
knife
Command.
already.
Yeah. So like that's a whole new class of ship. So that'd be interesting if they were to bring a whole new class of ship out. So maybe somewhere between cruisers and battle cruisers, because I think the leap between cruisers and battleships is quite significant. But battle cruisers tend to just kind of get used for support roles mostly, whereas there's some good attack battleships, but they don't get used very often. I've not seen many. The Cyclone Fleet is probably like the one I see the most.
Mm-hmm.
But nobody really uses the Naga or the Oracle. I used to see that around a lot in LowSec.
Yeah, what happened to that?
I know. Well, putting those big guns on the little ships, I thought that was quite an interesting idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, some more exotic fitting methods. Because obviously with the T3 stuff, choosing the subsystems means you have more or less mid slots, high slots, low slots. So it gives a lot of versatility. And I'd like to see that on a battleship. Something with you can have 10 guns.
Oh, that sounds like a mini marauder.
Yeah, but then you got no tank, so...
Yeah, it's glass cannon, basically.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to see.
Do you see yourself playing EVE 10 years from now?
10 years, I'll be 49 years old. If I have children, which I don't at the moment,
All mine
I can't imagine. Yeah, exactly. I can't imagine me having a lot of time. But again, I don't spend a crazy amount of time now. The only reason I spend any time on the game is just to build up my ISK pool so that I can either play for Plex or pay for some cool ships that I want to buy. So I think in the future I would have optimized that process, and I could spend less time on the game itself, and the time that I do spend is not mindlessly ratting or mindlessly salvaging. So yeah, I think I would say yes, I could see myself playing in the future.
I wonder how EVE would look, in 10 years' time.
Yeah.
I'm excited, to be honest.
Yeah, it's such a sandbox. There's so much that could be there.
Nice.
There's so much to use, so much to do.
Would you like to promote something?
Me?
What's that?
Don't have a Twitch stream.
Oh, yeah.
I don't have a Twitch stream or anything like that. I don't have a YouTube account like I used to. No, I don't shamelessly self-promote.
No shameless plug here.
No, I've got nothing. Just be nice to each other.
Aw, that's nice.
That's my promotion.
That's cool. I respect that. Here's something that I nicked from another podcast that I found a really nice touch on everything. Think of a question that I should ask our next guest.
For the next podcast?
Yes, and you don't have an idea which one it is yet.
Okay, so I've got to think of a question, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Right now.
Right now. We're doing this here.
Okay. So I'm always interested to know because there seems to be a little bit of a link with the military and EVE Online. I don't know if you've noticed that.
100%.
I
Yes.
just yeah. So there's a lot of the FCs, which are the fleet captains. Is that what FC stands for?
Fleet commander, but yes.
Fleet commander. Okay. A lot of the FCs, they're kind of like the leadership in the game. They will the ones that tell people to do stuff and walk people around. I'd be interested to find out why. I mean, yeah, what is the correlation between the military, their position in the military, whether they're a private, whether they a commander themselves or something like that, and the draw to Eve, like, is it just an extension of the same arm because now you have people underneath you, you have guns at your disposal, digital guns. You have that acquisition of power. You also have that power over the people. I'm just wondering, it's an interesting, like I say, correlation between ex-military and
Sure.
Eve. And yeah, I just think that's something around that would be interesting, especially if your next guest is ex-military and plays Eve.
Which is most likely.
It's potential, yeah. I mean, I nearly went in the military. I nearly went in the Air Force, but I didn't. So
the good old Air Force.
Thankfully. Yeah, the good old British Air Force. I was nearly part of that. My family are very military orientated. My uncle and auntie are both in the Ministry of Defence. I can't tell you what they do because otherwise I'd have to kill you.
Nice.
No, to be honest, I have no idea what they do. They won't tell me either.
Yeah.
But but yeah, I could have quite easily gotten into the Air Force. I had the grades. So I'm just a bit too tall. So when I went for a few induction days and little things like that. And they asked me like, oh, what do I want to do in the Air Force? And I was like, well, obviously fly fighter jets. That's one. And they were like, you're already too tall to do that.
Yeah, they have to make a smaller seat for you so you fit in the cockpit.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, oh well, I'm not going to bother.
That's nice. Well, thank you so much for taking the time and answering some of the questions. I'd really love to have you again once some time passed on, because there's so much more to discover.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I love talking about games and computers, so anytime, feel free to invite me back.
All right, well, I will definitely come back and circle back to that. Do you have any final words, sir?
Fly safe. Fly safe. Don't shoot. Don't fly anything you can't afford to lose.
That's a good one. I like that a lot. Well, thank you again so much, my man.
Excellent. All right. Thank you very much. And remember, undocking is consent.